I finally finished the 5th book, A Court of Silver Flames. So let's talk about it. Hey friends, and welcome back to my video. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the book, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I have read all 5 books. I have really enjoyed them. I just finished this one and I am so excited to talk to you about it. Now, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you have read the other 4 books and are here just for this one. So if you have not read the other 4 books, this is definitely going to be a spoiler for you. And my suggestion is that you leave, go read those books, and then come back because I would love to chat with you about them all. I'm going to say that I'm a little bit sad that I am done with this series, and I really hope that Sarah comes out with a whole nother book to this series because I have highly enjoyed this series a lot. This is probably my #1 favorite series. Loved it, absolutely loved the fantasy of it, the romance of it, loved everything about these books. So I highly recommend this series if you are looking for a really good fantasy series to read. So instead of following Farah, you are now going to follow Farah's sister, Nesta. Nesta was turned into a fairy when she was forced into the cauldron and came out as a fairy. And so she's very bitter, and you're going to follow her. The book's going to be in her point of view, and then the book is also going to be in Cassian's point of view. Cassian is an Illyrian brother to Rhysand and also the general commander to the Illyrian armies. And you will absolutely fall in love with Cassian just like right off the bat if you haven't already fallen in love with him with the other 4 books, because I just absolutely love Cassian. I love his sense of humor. He actually makes me laugh out loud. So you will love him as a character. So you'll get a lot of things in his viewpoints, even things that Farah and Rhysand do. You'll kind of get it from his point of view and how he feels about it, and then you'll also get it from Nesta's point of view. Now, I will say when I started this book, it was really hard to transition from Farah's story because I became so dedicated with Farah and Rhysand and the Night Court, all from Farah's point of view and a little bit of Rhysand's point of view throughout all 4 books. And so then all of a sudden not to have Farah's point of view was really kind of, for me it was just kind of a hard transition because it was like I was so dedicated to Farah, and now we're talking about Nesta. Now I was excited about Nesta's story, but Nesta is just horrid in the first few chapters, and I just had a hard time with her character. I had a hard time connecting with her. The first few chapters are of how she's trying to heal from book 3, Wings of Ruin, where they just went to war with Hybern, and everything that she witnessed in that book. She kind of went through a lot actually in that book, and so she's just kind of processing it, and this is her way of healing. And so the first few chapters, I will say, were a little bit rough for me to get through. I just felt like she was so angry and she lashed out, wanted to hurt everybody, and so that was kind of hard to read and kind of hard to get into. I did like having a new viewpoint from the sisters. It was kind of neat to kind of see what they were thinking and how they felt about everything. Well, not they, but through Nesta's eyes. And then I will say that I think it'd be awesome if Elaine got her own book too. So I'm hoping maybe that's a future, so we can kind of see where Elaine is going and how she's healing and how she's doing with being fairy. But that would be really neat. Okay, so if I was going to rate this book out of 5 stars, I'm going to give it 5 stars. Was it my favorite book of this whole series? No, it was not. But I have loved every single book, and I think the whole series is a 5-star rating. I absolutely love Sarah J. Maas's writing. I love the fantasy aspect of it all. I love the romance of it all. So I would definitely give it a 5-star rating. Now, I will say with this book, compared to all of the other books, I feel like the spice level in this book was a little bit more. Like, a lot of the detail was a little bit more. So if you don't like spice, I don't recommend this book. All right, so now, if you have read this book, we're definitely going to dive deep into some of the things that happen in the book. So this is a big spoiler for people who have not read the book. So if you haven't read the book, you plan on reading the book, leave now, save this video, come back, and let's talk about it. So the book starts off with following Nesta and how she is healing. And she is not healing well. She is getting drunk all the time. She's having relationships with men coming to her home every other night. I don't really know. She's just shutting down. Mentally, she's shutting down. She's pushing everyone away from her. She's being very mean. And you just don't like her. I just did not like her at the beginning of this book. She was just so nasty. So then there's like this big intervention and they decide to help Nesta and they start getting her the help that she needs. And she really fights against it for a very long time. And then she finally starts training with Cassian. And this is where the book started getting really good for me. The minute she started training with Cassian, I was like, okay, I'm starting to really like this. This is starting to pick up. This is starting to be good. So Nesta makes two different friends, and I really enjoyed reading about the relationship building with these friends. The friend was Gwen, who was a priestess that had a very terrible past, and that is why she's in the library, and that is how her and Nesta met, is because Nesta's working in the library. I really loved their friendship growing together. And then the second friend that Nesta makes is Emery, who is an Illyrian. She comes from an abusive family. Her father was really abusive to her, clipped her wings so she can't fly. And so you start to have these three girls who have had horrific things happen to them in their past, and they come together and they start training together to be Valkyries, is what they call themselves. They start researching into this warrior group that was all women called the Valkyries, and so they start training because they want to be Valkyries. So it's really fun when they start doing the training, and it's really exciting, and I loved that part of the book. I also really liked the part when at the very end of the book the girls get kidnapped and get put into the blood rite. And what the blood rite is an Illyrian ceremony where you go in and you fight to become a true warrior. And it's deadly and there's lots of bad things that happen. But I felt like there was just so much power in those chapters about reading the girls' survival and fighting to the top of the mountain. Like I loved that part of the book. Like I thought it was so good. And then I also loved when Cassian and Nesta took off on their hike, and Nesta finally had her breaking point where she started like letting things go and learning how to heal with everything that she's kind of been through in her life. So it was a really, really good book. Now, I would say that a lot of people could connect with it, especially the anxiety that Nesta deals with. I mean, she has a lot of dark thoughts that tend to take over her body, and then she can't deal with it. And I loved how the book kind of talked how she learned how to deal with it, and I feel like it could be very relatable to people who have like anxiety. And so I thought it was really good on that aspect too. So I did really, really enjoy this book. I highly recommend it. It was fabulous. So I'm going to rate it 5 stars. I rate the whole series 5 stars. If you are thinking about reading these books, go read them. I'm hoping if you're all the way to the end of this video, you've already read them and you just want to talk to me about them because you love them just as much as me. And I'm not, when I say I'm like in love with this series, I'm in love with this series. Like I want all the merch that comes with this series. Like I've already bought myself a poppet that has like one of the quotes from one of the books on the back of it. Like I am a true fan of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. They're amazing, and I can't wait. I am hoping that there is going to be a sixth book to the series because I want more. I need more. So I absolutely loved it. Okay, so I have some theories, and I feel like there will probably be another book, and it might possibly follow Elaine. We don't hear much about her in a lot of the books, just little tidbits, so I could see that being a possibility. And I know that her mate is Lucian, but they also kind of have her pair off with Azrael. Like there's a little bit of flirtation there, and Azrael is very protective of Elaine. So I could definitely see something happening there. But I also picked up on some flirtation between Gwen and Azrael. And I know that Azrael was the one who kind of went in and rescued Gwen when she was attacked before. And so I feel like there could possibly be a love story there as well. And then another thing that I picked up in the book was Emery was in the library with Nesta. And Morgan showed up in the library. And Emery could not stop staring at Morgan. So I feel like that could be the next love story too, is Emery with Morgan. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm on like the right path here, that there might actually be something like that going on. And who would you rather see Elaine with? Would you rather see her with Lucian, Azrael, or someone else? Someone else. I don't know. I've heard people say Tamlin, like the real Beauty and Beast story, but I don't know. I hate Tamlin. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, click the subscribe button with the little bell so you get notified when I post my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!